Incoming transmission.
Unidentified mechs. You are trespassing Dracon's Combine territory. Return to your dropships and your lives will be spared.
We do not care about your threats. Prepare to be purged in a spear vermin.
Find them! How is this possible? You were warned.
Hello Mech Warriors, I am Brock, aka Tarbater, and today I'll be reviewing the newest addition to the IS Assault Stable, the Mauler. It was donated to me by Todo Herbs, Lord Oriel, and Lokar, so thank you very much for making this review possible. Before we get to the Mech Warrior Online's take on the Mauler, let's take a look at the Mauler in Battletech to get a feeling for this mech first. The Mauler was based on a mech designed by the military arm of the Draconis Combine, which you may also know by its rulers, House Kurita. The design, which was called the Daboku, was an utter failure in all aspects. Its prototypes tended to auto-eject their pilots at the most unfortunate moments in battle, and the problems with its weaponry meant that they were never effective in combat. The Mauler was effectively a second attempt at bringing this promising design to life. It was a complete overhaul of the Daboku, and they were pretty much the same mech, but the ashamed Dragon's Combine engineers opted to treat it as a completely new mech instead, because being associated with a mech that tended to eject its pilots randomly is not exactly good for business. The Mauler was designed to engage targets at extreme ranges. Its base version came with 3 largest on its arms, 4 AC-2s in its side torsos, and 2 LRM-15s on its shoulders, which gave it distinct looks. It started its production in the year of 3048 and could be considered a recent design considering our current Mech Warrior Online date sits somewhere in 3052. That's the Mauler in lore, but how does this all translate to Mech Warrior Online? Alex once again did a great job in making this mech look great. Its main design features are a rather compact and flat-chested humanoid form, big shield arms, and of course, those slanted missile pods on its shoulders. It looks tough and menacing, and I don't expect anything less than a mech that is called the Mauler. But we've seen many times that the looks are not everything in Mech Warrior Online. So how does the geometry fare in terms of gameplay? Well, first of all, I have to say that the scaling is spot on. When you remove the missile pods, the Mauler has a smaller frontal profile than a Highlander, which is already a well-scaled mech. It has a triangular torso structure rather than the Highlander's rectangular torso, which also helps with tanking. Secondly, perhaps as important as its frontal profile, the side profile is also quite thin for its tonnage. There are no apparent weaknesses due to components sticking out. The side profile is again smaller than a Highlander, and it's even thinner than a Battlemaster, which is 5 tons lighter than the Mauler. Even better, its arms are designed to soak a lot of damage. Overall, the Mauler has everything going for it to be a tough nut to crack. Good geometry does not always equal tankiness in Mech Warrior Online though. A mech can be equally crippled by its hitboxes, despite having a good geometry. I found the Mauler to be pretty good in this aspect. Its center torso hitbox is not exactly thin, but it's not exactly huge either. Also, the CT hitbox has a hexagonal pattern which lets it thin out towards the middle of the torso where the most people aim at. That being said, the CT hitbox is large enough that you need the torso twist to ensure you spread incoming damage. The side torso hitboxes are hugely dependent on the usage of LRMs in the Mauler. When you don't have the shoulder pods, your SD hitboxes become much smaller. Overall, the Mauler hitboxes are very decent, but they need a lot of torso twisting to do their job. I wouldn't call the Mauler XL safe, but XL builds can definitely run with relative safety. Every single Mauler comes with 10 hardpoints. As such, it takes the flag from the Stalker and the Battlemaster as the heaviest assault with most amount of hardpoints. This means unlike the Highlander, which only comes with 7 hardpoints and questionable placements, the Mauler can put out much more hurt and is deadlier when built right. One other thing to note is that the Mauler hardpoints are not low mounted. Its arm weaponry are not exactly knuckle draggers like the Gargoyle or the Executioner, and they are located close near the middle of the torso. Similarly, the torso ballistic hardpoints are also reasonably high mounted, with the first 4 placed right in the middle of the side torsos and the last 2 just below the cockpit. Finally, the missile hardpoints are extremely high mounted. You will be able to fire them even with a tiny exposure of your mech. Right, enough about the geometry and hardpoints. How about the variants? Well, see, the Mauler being a relatively new mech in 2052, it does not have many variants that fit our current timeline. Therefore, except for the primary variant, which is the 1R, PGI had to come up with variants of their own in order to plug the gap. To my knowledge, this is the only mech in the game whose variants are almost non-canon, and it's not a bad thing. As you'll see, PGI managed to give each variant a distinct flavor, which makes them equally fun to pilot. The Mauler 1R is the primary production variant of this mech. It comes with 1 energy hardpoint in each arm, 2 ballistic hardpoints, and 2 missile hardpoints in each side torso for a total of 2 energy, 4 ballistic, and 4 missile hardpoints. This instantly makes this mech a very versatile but ballistic and missile heavy variant. 4 ballistics allow you to go crazy with autocannons, while 4 missile hardpoints allow you to make this mech an SRM brawler with a ridiculous alpha, or an annoying LRM boat which I do not recommend. Its only handicap is very limited energy hardpoints, and as such, the 1R is an ammo dependent mech. The Mauler 1P is the generalist variant. It comes with 2 energy hardpoints in each arm, 2 ballistic hardpoints in each side torso, and a single missile hardpoint in each side torso for a total of 4 energy, 4 ballistics, and 2 missile hardpoints. It has a little bit of everything, and as such, it lends itself well to balanced builds. Especially the 4 energy 4 ballistics combo lets you do devastating pinpoint alpha builds. I found that the missile hardpoints are totally forgettable though. The MX-90 is for those who just can't get enough of ballistics. It is apparently designed to make your wildest ballistic dreams come true. It comes with 2 energy hardpoints in each arm with 3 ballistic hardpoints and a single missile hardpoint in each side torso. As such, this is the only IS mech capable of running 6 AC5s, quad LBX 10s, and every AC combination in between. However, because it sacrifices 6 hardpoints to ballistics, it's left with little backup weaponry to defend itself with. The 2P is the inevitable energy boat variant. It's pretty much a board set without all the disadvantages of being an Atlas. Currently this mech is not available for purchase. I don't have it either because apparently I made the mistake of waiting for its release before buying it, so I will just briefly touch upon it in my review. The 2P comes with 3 energy hardpoints in each arm with a single ballistic and missile hardpoint in each side torso. As such, it lends itself well to pure energy bolting or combination of lasers and 1 or 2 big autocannons. This variant is a precision cutter compared to the others. As such, it lends itself well to pure energy bolting or combination of lasers and 1 or 2 big autocannons. This variant is a precision cutter compared to the others, which makes it pretty attractive. If you like filling every hardpoint available in a logical manner, you will find that the Mauler is extremely hard to work with. Its high hardpoint count and good hardpoint placement makes it extremely versatile. Yet, the tonnage is never enough and you end up making a lot of sacrifices and usually have to settle for a less capable build than what you intended originally. In a sense, the Mauler is an inner sphere direwolf in terms of firepower potential, but without the tonnage efficient clan weaponry and ridiculous amounts of free space. You will often notice that switching to an Excel engine lets you achieve crazy firepower, but then you have to be very careful to make sure you spread damage well. Don't take my words wrong though, the Mauler's versatility is also a blessing. Thanks to its hardpoints and tankiness, it can be a face-melting brawler, a long-range damage pumper, or a mid-range crazy DPS mech, and anything in between. It's a great value for money and is worth grinding for. As you build it, you will notice that the Mauler is best utilized with symmetrical builds due to its hardpoint distribution. This way, especially with a standard engine, you will have enough redundancy to dish out damage as long as you live. It's also possible to opt for side-picking builds with shield sides just like the Highlander, but doing so you're going to be wasting half of your hardpoints. However, this is still a good idea on energy-heavy variants such as the Mauler 1P and the 2P because of the high amount of arm weaponry. Alright, enough spreadsheet worrying. How does the Mauler actually play and how does it feel? The first thing you'll notice when you drop with the Mauler is that its mobility is somewhat limited. The problem is twofold. With only 70 degrees of torso twist, you will have problems tracking targets at close ranges. It's especially annoying to fight against lights who circle and try to stay behind you. However, editing the map greatly reduces problem and it gives you a rather comfortable 84 degrees of twist range. The second annoying thing is its painfully slow speed. Just like the Highlander, the Mauler's maximum engine size is 325, and sometimes it's just not enough. Especially when your team decides to take off and NASCAR around the map, you will struggle to keep up. Slow speed also means your positioning needs to be spot on to get the most out of this mech. However, having a low engine cap means that your average Mauler on the field also has above average firepower, and oh boy does this mech live up to its name. Yes, the best thing about the Mauler is its ridiculous firepower and DPS. Especially with ballistic heavy builds, you will see that there are only a handful amount of mechs in this game that can outtrade you. Provided you get a decent map fitting your weapon range profile, this thing can absolutely mop the floor with the enemy team. Especially the Quad Ultra Ace 5 builds gets a special mention from me, as this thing will sometimes successfully engage multiple enemies with success, just as much as my unit mate successfully engages 2 direwolves and 2 king crabs with it.
New target acquired. New target acquired. Left torso critical damage.
The problem with the DPS builds is there's not much time to torso twist, so you will end up with a core CT more often than not. Then again, you'll be doing so much damage that your opponent is guaranteed to take more damage than you. If you want to do long range and high alpha oriented builds, the Mauler still has you covered. It can do dual autocannon or ghost builds and can also afford to mount at least a couple of lasers with a standard engine. Brawling with a Mauler is possible and effective, as long as you stick to ballistic and laser builds. I particularly enjoy dual Ultra AC-20s and dual large lasers, which absolutely demolishes at close ranges. Brawly builds are alright, so long as you bring weapons to fend off enemies at mid ranges. As soon as you mix SRMs in, it becomes much harder to do well because you simply don't have the speed to quickly close in with your opponents. As for survivability, I found the Mauler to be pretty tanky as long as your build doesn't force you to stare at your opponents. The arms tank pretty well and the side torsos react well to torso twisting. I would say it's nearly as tanky as a Banshee and the hitboxes behave in a similar way. Overall, the Mauler is probably the best addition to the Inner Sphere assault stable ever since the introduction of the Banshee. If you can cope with its limited torso twist and slow speed while playing for its strengths, you're going to do extremely well. This is definitely not a one-trick pony. I highly recommend it if you're looking for a versatile assault which will keep you entertained for a long time.